Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a snapshot of the new age of heightened experience with wearable devices. Before that, I have one chart on STMicroelectronics because some of you may not be familiar, so I will just have one page to be sure that you know what is ST. And ST is a global semiconductor leader, and semiconductor is a very fascinating industry, as you know, in particular in Taiwan. And we have had a lot of development in the past 30 years, and having 8,700 people in R&D, which is at the core of the development of its industry. So that gives you the picture. ST is in the top 10 semiconductor supplier, and we are driving the semiconductor industry since a long time. Now, the semiconductor industry in the past 20 years has been moving with almost a Copernican revolution. 20 years ago, it was just trying to meet the requirement of the big computer and telecommunication industry and the professional requirement of businessmen. In the past 20 years, it has moved to answering the society call. And therefore, we need to look at the trend of the society to be sure that what's happening to the semiconductor and later on, of course, to the Internet of Things and wearables. Indeed, while we didn't have the chance to discuss before, I can check that my numbers are quite generally in line with my predecessors. You can see that 13% of the population is getting over 60 years old. This is brand new. A century ago, it was really difficult to be already 60 years old. 55% of the population is living in city. You remember that also a century ago, everybody was, let's say, really living in the outside of small villages and in the countryside. 39% of the population is becoming a middle class, and it was very well mentioned that the middle class is indeed the one that is able now to really buy and work and play with the semiconductor and the electronic system worldwide. The energy requirement, quite limited, 6%, because we try to reduce it, and indeed the semiconductor is here to try to reduce it to the minimum. You will see that it is one of the really fascinating aspects of the microcontrollers in particular, for your air conditioning, for your building security and so on. And the fact that there will be 22 billion connected devices. I'm sure that most of the numbers, whatever they are anyway big and moving fast. Indeed, the semiconductor is trying to answer. 20 sensors in a smartphone by 2017 means 40 billion sensors per year. And then we reach the numbers that my colleague from ARM was mentioning, the 200 billion very soon. 65 million for new smart metering installed to be sure that your consumption is going down and is well, let's say, measured and invoiced to all citizens. The middle class needs also 95 million cars sold. And the car is a big user of semiconductor, not only the today car, but the hybrid cars, the electrical car. And the average of $333 inside the car is an average. The hybrid car is almost 600, the electrical one is almost 900. So you can see that whatever the number of cars, which remain basically stable almost every year, depending on the growth in China and what is stable in other countries, but this is also a big requirement of the society. As I was saying, maintaining a very reduced consumption of energy, microcontrollers has a specific place in everything, going to your microwave, your wash machine, your dishwasher, and therefore it is 24 billion microcontrollers per year that will be used by year 2017. And on top of that, you still need to watch, of course, TV, and there will be 56 million ultra-high-definition TV sold by this year, which means that, indeed, the semiconductor is bounded to a very strong growth in the coming decades, not even years, because of all this requirement of the society. The volume for semiconductor has changed 20 years ago when we moved from basically big equipment consumption and professional to the mass market of the consumer and every individuals. And all of that is becoming even smarter in the past 5-10 years. There is the smart city to reduce traffic congestion, improve security and lighting, the smart car, the smart home, the smart industrial and services, and some things that I am going to enter in more detail, the smart me in wellness, healthcare, and many other applications you will see later on. Indeed, the Internet of Things, I will try to give you a definition that I like very well, things that leverage the Internet to make them smarter. The combination of existing things augmented, the new things to augment life, and therefore the IoT is really the things that leverage the Internet to make them smarter. Keep that in mind because this is what you are going to see later on. Indeed, whatever the numbers, 13 billion, 36 billion connected devices, what is important is the 5 major ingredients of success in IoT. Sensing, we talk about it a lot, in particular with my predecessor from Harm. The processing, microcontroller is at the core of it. The connection, connectivity through Bluetooth and wireless is absolutely mandatory. Translation of any information in whatever process will be required, even translation in languages. And obviously, all of that should be done with low power consumption. This is the key. The battery is an issue. The low power consumption is the obsession of the semiconductor industry in terms of process, application, integration. And since I am in charge of this particular part on wearables, let's look at the wearable devices in more details. Here, first of all, you can see that it has taken off. Fashion, user experience, quality of life, personalized even some healthcare, not medical, healthcare, and even, let's say, some monitoring of your health looks to be the major drivers that you can see. And you can see that we started by the blue one, and the fitness and sport. Then we are, let's say, looking now to the smart watches. And then there will be, of course, the one of the healthcare medical that will be the very, let's say, strong demand of the society. And let's look at it not only on the fact that you may have it everywhere on you, but there is here 4 major blocks that are detailing the maybe requirement, in fact, of the human body. Today it is wellness and fitness. It's very simple. The wristbands, many, let's say, even watch and so on. You can do it in every places, on your arm, on your leg, on your foot, and so on. Then there is augmented reality, the one that will give you really a lot of improvement on whatever application, on language, on communication, on projection, on display, on connectivity. One that will become very important will be the electronic payment. Today you are still obliged to have in your pocket your wallet with a credit card and so on. And even if it's starting on the phone, you may have later on some ability to pay with the NFC. Still, let's say you are obliged to have that. Very soon your watch will become also a way of payment, very easy, very secure, and very even cheap. And this will allow you to basically have nothing on you except your watch and your dress. So, and the last one, which is really a strong requirement of the society, will be the healthcare. The healthcare at the beginning for monitoring your own health, but later on, of course, we'll go even to the medical monitoring of the old people that may have sometimes some trouble falling or even a heart attack and so on, where, let's say, in this case, you have to have a medical real infrastructure, which is more complex. You need an infrastructure. You need, of course, to have a center call, and you need to have very reliable and qualified product according to Food and, let's say, Drug Administration. So this, in other words, there is a ranking here between wellness, augmented reality, e-payment, and healthcare. There is already some wearable device, some of them from many companies that you know here in Japan, in China, in Taiwan, and so on. But let's look at the one by one between the four major blocks that I have presented. The wellness, environmental sensor, humidity, exposure to sun, temperature, inertial module on activity monitoring, how fast, how long, how deep have you been running, and so on. The analog sensor for your heart monitoring, which will be very important. And obviously, all of that required very low power connectivity and energy harvesting. We will try even to get your battery charged while you are running to be sure, like when you have an engine, it's like when you have an hybrid vehicle, when you are running, your battery, is charged. We will use even your own energy to charge, let's say, your wrist or even your watch and so on. Because as we know, the battery is the key issue. Now, if we look at the augmented reality, this is not existing right now on wearables. But these are some of the activity that will be very soon on smartphone, and therefore will be later on, I'm sure, going to wearables. The MEMS mirror pico projection. You will be able to project with your phone very soon. There is already some companies having some demo and prototype where you will be able, with your phone, to display all your images, your presentation, your pictures, whatever and so on any, let's say, panel very nicely, even in HD definition. This is existing. The Pico projector is existing, and you can see it even in some companies which has been displaying it recently. This is a very complex device that will be integrated in the phone, not an additional one, but will be part of your phone. Nobody wants to add anything in his pocket today. The second one is the speech recognition. A lot of people, would like, and we have seen, last week I was in Beijing, there was a company presenting translation, of phone, therefore you can speak in Korean and your Chinese counterpart will understand. I will do it in French and it may even translate in Chinese. I would like to have it today. Then there will be the gesture recognition. It is already existing on PC, recognizing, let's say, your movement, to stop, to change the channel, to make, let's say, games and so on. And this has been introduced by some companies. And this will be, I'm sure, reduced to your tablet or even of your, let's say, other nomadic devices. And this will be also a very easy way to interface. The proximity sensor will also allow you to have a very low power consumption. The photonics allow you to measure the distance between your phone and your ear and to switch off the display and to save on consumption very easily. This is very an accurate measurement of the distance of your phone and your ear, and this is very efficient. And then the microphone, analog and digital. So you can see that your phone will be very soon much more than just, of course, voice and even data, and some even picture and display. It will go to projection, to translation, to gesture recognition, and to, obviously, much higher audio and video. The electronic payment is the next step, because today, obviously, the wireless industry is trying to work on your cellular phone, being able to pay on the way, but this is still taking some time. There is a lot of, let's say, standard to be defined. There is a lot of countries that needs to adopt this solution, a lot of suppliers using the near-field communication to be sure that each of your phone become, of course, a payment system. In between, there is a lower cost solution, which will include microcontrollers, an embedded secure element for the security of the transaction, and obviously a very low power Bluetooth energy and NFC controllers on an E2PROM also with the secure element that will, with the micro, that will allow, let's say, to pay just with your watch. You can imagine going to the MRT, to the metro system and just paying with your watch, not even taking your wallet, and trying to find your card and so on. Fantastic. So, and notwithstanding the fact that you can really have everything done in transaction, you can get money, you can pay for your drinks and so on in any shops very easily. So the watch may become an element of payment, very well secure, at a very low-cost solution, and still doing a lot of things for you without even your wallet and your phone. You can do even directly. In other words, you don't need even your phone. You don't need even your wallet. So e-payment will be, in my opinion, a real requirement of the society to go fast and easy. And then the healthcare. These people are still very young, by the way. I'm not sure that they need a lot of healthcare. But low-power connectivity, biometric and vital sign, some, let's say, inertial module to, let's say, look at your sleep disorders and so on. People like to see how active they are during the night and so on, or not. The detection of some glaucoma diagnostic. You know that the pressure on your eyes is of strategic importance. It's very difficult to detect it, even if you go to a doctor. So you will have permanent, a kind of lens with a sensor that will communicate with your glasses and will send through, let's say, wireless, all the information to your doctor to be sure that we detect the, let's say, high pressure on a continuous basis. And the same, of course, on glucose monitoring and insulin nanopump for diabetics. You know that there is, unfortunately, a lot of diabetics in the world, and this will be a big step in terms of not only detecting your glucose level, but also monitoring for a nanopump the necessary injection that you need as a diabetic. All of that is still not even medical. This is monitoring of regular health situation. Obviously, the monitoring of vital sign will come, but this we need the infrastructure and the qualification I was mentioning before, going to call center of hospital and doctors and so on. This will come, and this will be a big requirement of an aging population. So that's very important in terms also of volume and application. The solution, as mentioned already by some of my predecessors in this morning, is that you need both hardware and software. You need hardware in microcontrollers, in digital sensor, in power management, in protection, in embedded security, and you need, of course, software. Algorithms, because here you make the difference. Optical heart rate, ECG, activity tracking, detection of somebody falling. In fact, this will be good also for all people. You will be able to see if your, grandfather is just, sleeping or falling, let's say, because of a heart attack or, let's say, a serious problem. So all of that is a combination, a deep combination between hardware and software, and all of that required partnership, required internal development, partnership with a lot of companies that are specialized in every field. And you can see that I've been talking only about the wearables. There is plenty of application in the Internet of Things, as mentioned, in automotive, in home, in security, in transportation and so on, in energy saving, that will be of strategic importance. Therefore, we are trying to provide to our customers, in fact, you have seen in the presentation of Harm, I checked that there was something on ST in the board, let's say, that was there. I appreciated a lot. And you can see that, indeed, we have a set of boards which allow, starting from the microcontrollers and the MEMS, the sensors, and the power management, and all the other interface and so on that you want, to develop a solution very easily, very user-friendly, very cheap, and very professional in having from your sensing, connection, translation, moving, power, processing, software, and so on, capable to link on your board. You can even pile all of them. In fact, it's like a Lego, that you pile up all these different boards. They are compatible each other. And you can realize very quickly the different applications that you would like to implement in whatever field of your business. So the challenges of IoT in general and wearables, obviously, but the overall IoT are three major ones. The flexibility and efficiency with smarter application. Everything should be ultra-low power. Everything should be in a very small form factor to be sure that you can integrate it. When we talk about a Pico projector in a phone, you need to integrate it in a very small form factor because otherwise it doesn't work. You need more connectivity, whatever it is, Bluetooth, low energy to wireless, new standard in the 2.5 or 5 giga and so on. You need connectivity. The problem, of course, of wireless Wi-Fi is it's a huge demand of energy today. So this is a tremendous challenge. Bluetooth low energy is one of the very easy connection way today that doesn't, let's say, oblige you to charge your watch or your phone every 2 hours. But Wi-Fi is still a very high consumption. And we need to reduce that deeply to be sure that this is well, let's say, connected at a very ultra low power level. And then the more security. It was mentioned by everybody, and I understood that it is part also of some of the panel today or yesterday even and tomorrow and so on the security of the transaction. So this required secured micro with specific algorithms to be sure that you are having your own data and you are dealing with them only on whatever you store them, on whatever you collect them, whatever you forward them, and so on. So embedded secure microcontrollers, embedded even, say, device, EEPROM, and so on your particular even language and so on, will be key. And embedded secure microcontroller are at the core of the security requirement of the society in Internet of Things. So, on the wearables, don't feel that, we are talking about something which is just starting to appear. Wearables is here now. Wearables is on you. In fact, I have even, let's say, one with me. I will not disclose the brand name, but it is something that you can have today. It's working. It is connected. It is well, let's say, used in fitness and in wellness. And it can also, as you can see, your watch will become not only these ingredients of your pulse and your even health monitoring, will be able to pay, will be able to give you a lot of information and data and so on. So the watch may become something very useful very soon, beyond even the just wristband. But again, we will not stop here. Beyond the wearables, you will have the home, the office, the city, the automotive, and this is an unlimited and infinite, indeed, requirement of the society. There is already some of these wearables. You can see that the number of companies, here it's an example. The names are, of course, important, but the fact is that there is a lot of names are very important because there will be a lot of players. In this industry, you need to be ready. You don't know who will be the winner. There is plenty of players. You need to be ready with as many players as possible in all the solution and software with many companies in US, in Korea, in Taiwan, in China, everywhere. So this is very important. So what is the takeaway of this short presentation? The wearable and IoT market is growing. ST remains at the center of this evolution. The chance with ST is you have one shop stop. You can buy from ST almost everything. The sensor, the microcontroller, the secure micro, the power management, everything, the interface, and so on. Very few companies can do that. We have the entire spectrum of a product that cover the entire application on IoT, whatever in industrial, in consumer, in telecom, in computer. So, innovation is at the core of it. You can see, you can feel, you can see from Acer, from ARM, from, I'm sure from NXP later on, and from MediaTek that there is a huge amount of innovation, of emulation between the different partners, of cooperation and of partnership to develop solutions, because there is a huge market, as it was presented this morning by all speakers. The 32-bit open development environment is key. Microcontrollers we have a very ultra-low power version 1, which are working a few days, not just a few hours, with even very small batteries. And this is enabling the ecosystem of IoT. Therefore, wearable devices augment all the aspects of our life. They are the starting point. There is plenty of other, as I have been showing to you, on the augmented reality, on the electronic payment, and on the healthcare, and later on even to the medical, a wave of applications that will develop with wearable, with your phone, with IoT in general. Thank you very much for your time.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Gilbert.